While we work at Microsoft, this podcast is independent of Microsoft and implies no warranty or guarantee of the products or services. We will not be sharing anything confidential, and we do not represent the opinion of Microsoft in any way. We are just two passionate guys that love what we do implementing Microsoft devices and services.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome to the Device Pros podcast. I'm Frank Pinto, and my co-host is Alfred Ojukwu. This show is all about our experience as consultants implementing Microsoft solutions around the world. If you're already an IT pro or you're trying to get started, you've come to the right place. We will discuss tech success and failure in the show, resources, tips, tricks, and everything in between. You can find us at www.thedevicepros.com, on Twitter and Facebook as The Device Pros. Hold on to your surfaces, the episode is about to begin. Welcome back to another amazing episode of The Device Pros, episode number 19. I am joined by my co-host, Alfred Ojukwu. Hey, Alfred.
Hey, what's going on? Nice to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely excited to have you back in. Last time around, we talked about the Enterprise Mobility Suite. And so this week, we're going to start a new series where we're doing a deep dive into the three components of the Enterprise Mobility Suite. So what are we going to talk about? Which of the three awesome pieces of EMS we're going to talk about today?
Well, see, I'm really excited that we're going to talk about this portion because this is sort of dating me in years in terms of what I've worked on in the past. We're going to talk about Azure Active Directory Premium and show you what the differences are between Azure Active Directory Premium and some of the other solutions we've had in the past, and how those two can work together and sync together to take advantage of the features that you typically would get in a standalone infrastructure.
All right, so what I hope to accomplish in this podcast is to provide the top 5 reasons why you would use Azure AD Premium. What do you think? Can we do it?
I think we can do it.
Can we do more than 5?
We can probably do close to 10.
Whoa, man. Talk about over-deliver. All right. Well, okay, so first of all, I know there are 3 different flavors of Azure Active Directory. So there is, let's go over it. So the first one is free, right?
Yeah, Azure Active Directory free. It's the free edition of Azure AD, and basically you can manage user accounts. You can synchronize them with on-premise directories. You can get single sign-on with Azure if you're looking for some sort of single sign-on process, or Office 365, and just a number of different SaaS applications. All of that's available through the Active Directory free version of Azure Active Directory.
Okay, well that sounds like a lot for free. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that you can manage your accounts, I mean, again, you have to kind of assess what you're looking for. And that free version gives you that basic, ability to do what you want in terms of, synchronizing those applications, those SaaS applications that you have.
Okay, all right. And then we have Active Directory Basic.
Active Directory Basic, it also provides the application access and self-service identity piece. So a little bit more than what you had with the free. You get that version, but with the basic edition of Azure AD, you also get some of the capabilities of free as well as group-based access management. So things like self-service password resets for your cloud applications or customizable environments for launching enterprise and consumer cloud applications, as well as just some level of SLAs for your application. So you're guaranteeing some level of uptime at 99.9.
Wow, okay. 99.9. That's pretty up there. So this is, if I were to look at it from say a medium to large size, I'd be looking at Active Directory Basic because that's when we start to provide an SLA.
Exactly. That's when you want to start, and that's when those SLAs really matter because you need that uptime. You need to guarantee your consumers that the service that you provide will continue to remain up if there are any issues.
All right. And then finally, the piece that is integrated in the Enterprise Mobility Suite offering for Microsoft is Active Directory Premium.
Yeah, a premium is the top account, and basically you get all the capabilities of free and basic, all that they have to offer, but you also get just additional feature-rich enterprise identity management capabilities, and some of that we'll talk about as we go through this. But all of that you get to take advantage of that. Things like integration with identity manager. We already mentioned multi-factor authentication. You get options to advanced security reporting and alerting, so you can find out what's going on in your infrastructure. And
so
like you mentioned,
is that BI? Is that business intelligence that we're starting to get into?
Absolutely. That's information that you can now leverage and provide to your team so that they know what the status is of your environment.
Okay. All right. So maybe let's start walking through some of the features of Premium, and we'll kind of just go through a little discussion about what each one does. What do you think?
Yeah, no, totally. You want to start off with the company branding?
Yeah, well, that's a pretty basic one, but that's nice. You certainly, if you're a medium to large size business, you want what your end users are seeing to be branded as your business. So we've got the ability with Premium to brand the portal with your company's stamp.
Yeah, and it gives it sort of that look and feel that it's sort of your own localized version. I think that's a great feature to have in your own Active Directory Premium. And then there's group-based application access, right? So this is basically using groups to provision users and assign users access in bulk, so over thousands of applications. And you can basically say, I want these set of users to have access to that application in the cloud. And it can either be created solely in the cloud, or you can leverage your existing groups in Active Directory that have been synced through your on-premise AD environment.
Okay, so that's an important, bit to realize or to mention that we can synchronize or already leverage what the investment that the company has made in their inside Active Directory. So it's not like they're starting from scratch or managing two environments.
Absolutely. Right. It's really gives them a chance to sort of continue on the work they've done with their environment and build it out in the cloud itself.
All right. So let's see. So far we've counted down two of the top. We're going 10. 2 top 10 reasons. All right. Next on the list, I know we wanted to talk about the self-service password reset. What do you know about that?
So again, self-service password reset, again, another really cool thing. Imagine how difficult sometimes it is to have accounts where the users don't have the ability to reset their accounts. What Azure AD Premium gives you is that ability to allow that user to make that request. And with the AD Premium, you can just basically reduce your help desk calls when a user forgets their passwords by giving them access, giving the users access to their directory and being able to allow them to reset the password. This is very important when you're dealing with Office 365 and account resets.
All right, so you can use something like the multi-factor authentication piece, right? So the user goes in, they say, hey, I've forgotten my password, and then they have the option to get a temporary password code, a one-time password to do the reset sent to their cell phone. Yep,
exactly. And again, imagine just reducing that ops cost, right? Operations just basically gets reduced, because a lot of times that's what you see is a lot of calls regarding the password resets. And if you talk to anybody that's on the help desk team during a migration process or during a transition process, that's one of the bigger challenges that they run up against.
Not to mention user frustration, because then they have to call up and, make a request, submit a ticket. This is instant. If they forget it and they lock themselves out or whatever, they can do the reset right then and there.
Yep, exactly.
Cool.
So another one that comes to mind is the self-service group management, which basically, like I mentioned, is only available in AD Premium and Basic. It's not available in Free, but what it does.
I like this feature. I mean, this is pretty handy.
Yeah. No, it does is it allows you to take advantage of what we call delegated group management, right? So take the example of an admin or resource who's managing access to an application, and they want to be able to control who has access to that application or which groups have access to that application. By delegating that rights, then you can say, basically, you're going to manage these applications and determine who has access and what they can do to it. And then you as an overall administrator no longer have to worry about managing all the applications.
All right, so let's put it into context. Let's say that I'm a sales manager and I have a sales application, maybe Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and I'm in charge of that my business owns that application, and I get a new salesperson. I want to make sure that person has access to our app that's, in the cloud.
Yep.
So I have the ability as the sales manager to add that individual in, but would I have access to the rest of the administration panel? Do I need like the Active Directory, MMC snap in on my computer?
No, exactly. I mean, the delegation happens where you as the overall admin can delegate it to, application admins. And then they would only have access to delegate, who needs rights, access to that specific application. So it's giving you as the overall administrator the right to delegate who can control what access to the applications.
Okay. All right.
But we also want to mention just the self-service group management piece as well. That's also part of this. And it's also made available through the Azure AD Access panel.
Okay. So I don't need the AD MMC snap in for my end user when, if I'm the sales manager, I just go to the Office 365 portal and I can do my management from there.
Exactly.
And of course, it follows the idea that we only show the users what they have access to do. So in other words, they wouldn't have access to update all of Active Directory. They would only see the groups that they have access to manage.
Yep.
Cool.
So question for you. So what if I can create and manage groups in Azure AD using Windows PowerShell? And one of the questions that came up was, what further group management functionality will they have in terms of accessing Azure AD Premium? And basically, some of the AD Premium offers delegate the group admins and self-service group managements is done to the point where you can also enable people who cannot use Windows PowerShell to do what they need to do.
Okay. Wow. So if I'm that wouldn't be probably for an end user, your average end user, but if I'm an admin, if I'm an IT admin, I can use the PowerShell commandlets and manage things from PowerShell directly to the cloud?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty nice.
Yep.
All right. What about security, reporting, alerts? Do we have any of that kind of stuff?
That exists as well, right? We know that's part of the overall solution that's provided. So the monitoring, it basically monitors and protects access to the cloud applications. And, you can view detailed logs showing more advanced issues or anything that may be inconsistent or just patterns of access and be able to report on it and provide that to the business and say, here's what we're seeing. We're seeing this user that's continuously trying to reset, random passwords. Anything like that, you're able to kind of provide that report and use that as a way to trend how you manage your AD Premium account.
All right. And the other thing I think is really, kind of exciting, there's it's not really new, but I guess it's new to mainstream, is using something called machine learning.
Yep.
And so our advanced reports in the cloud actually use machine learning technologies to help gain a deeper insight of what's going on. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Every time I hear the term machine learning, I think about, 1984. 1984, and that the book and just the idea that machines are going to be sort of taking over how things are done. But yes, Terminator as well. So
I'll be back.
Don't sound like him.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't. Well, I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hasta la vista, baby. There you go.
All right, so what about multi-factor authentication? I touched on that earlier. I know that included within Premium, you get multi-factor authentication, but what does that mean? What does that look like?
So the idea around multi-factor authentication is now you can use your Azure AD Premium account to allow users access to multiple applications like online services like Office 365 and Dynamics CRM Online, and just a number of different, non-MS Cloud applications, just, by using a single, by using more than one method. So they might have a request, they might log in with their account and have a request sent to their phone to ensure that they have access to that application. And users will be prompted to set up additional verifications the next time they sign in, like, a phone verification or text verification. All those are options that you can take advantage of in the multi-factor authentication scenario.
Okay. Well, that makes really good sense. If you have, I guess I've been kind of thinking about that. What a lot of our businesses that do have multi-factor authentication that requires like a physical connection, right? They would use a smart card. Or, maybe need to pay for an additional service like some token.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But, something to keep in mind is the smart cards and tokens, those are things that are coming. Right now, what we see more of is the automated phone calls, the text messages, the one-time passcodes, the notifications. All of those are part of the last two are built into the multi-factor authentication apps, where you get those notifications or that one-time passcode. You probably see that now with some of your phones when you put in a request and it sends a text to your phone and it'll ask you to actually put in that verification code. That ensures your identity and prevents anyone from trying to hack in because they're not validating that information that you've provided up front.
That second factor.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. What else? We've talked. Let me see here. Let me just go through our show notes to see.
It's built. There's a lot of stuff built into it. We didn't talk about the identity management, which we kind of did, but it comes with the option to grant users, the forefront identity management rights in their on-premises network to support any combination of like hybrid ID solutions. So basically, it's a great option if you have a variation of like on-premise directories and databases that you want to sync up with AD. And there really is no limit on the number of identity management servers you can use. However, the CALs are granted based on the allocation of your premium user license.
All right. So we have at this point talked about 7 different benefits, right? So we've got 3 more benefits we need to give our listeners so that they get the top 10. So what do we have left?
I can give one really quick, and one of them that I think is a real benefit is the SLAs, right? The 99.9. Again, we mentioned that you don't get that SLAs in some of the other levels, but at least with the Azure AD Premium and I believe the Basic, you get an SLA of 99% uptime. 99.9. It's 3 nines, right? It's always 3 nines.
Yep.
And that availability ensures your business continues to run as expected and there's no delays in service.
Okay, that's a good one. 3 nines. Mm-hmm. One thing that I would like to add, another reason is that because this is a cloud-based offering, Microsoft is able to release updates, to the service and add features to the service pretty rapidly. There's a lot of things that Microsoft has announced publicly in the roadmap that are coming out, additional things that are coming out. One of those things that I really like is the application proxy. So Azure AD application proxy is on its way. Bidirectional sync, password with write back. There's some really cool things that they've announced and that those features are possibly in public preview right now. Well, actually, I know a couple of them are in public preview, and then they'll be added to the regular feature set. So that's pretty cool, right? It's really difficult to make updates to your on-prem Active Directory solution because that's on-prem, and we have a different way of dealing with on-prem servers and managing that, and we have as far as service level windows or service windows where we can make updates and changes, and in the cloud we don't really have to do that. It's a whole different way of being able to add features rapidly, and I love that they're really sharing that information.
Well, even more importantly, I think we need, if you're an admin or a business decision maker out there and you're thinking about how to move forward in this new world of mobile first, cloud first, you definitely should consider Azure AD Premium, because what that does is it allows you to extend your infrastructure into the cloud and take advantage of the same features you had on-prem without the limitations of being stuck within a certain domain. Right? You can now access that information from home securely, right? You can now do transactions and be much more agile in getting things done securely. And the key word being securely. That's one thing that we, within the Enterprise Mobility Suite, we continue to emphasize is, the important piece of this is that we are providing those services to the end user and the consumer and the businesses and the enterprise through a secure channel. Everything is SSL, everything is encrypted, and ensures that you can, have that data transferred from one directory to another without having to worry about it being compromised, as we've seen in the news in the last few days, weeks, months.
Okay, all right. So that we're at 9, and I think number 10 might be. It's a little cheeky. To take one of my UK words. By the way, I'm in Seattle now, so woohoo! I forgot we didn't even talk about that at all. But I'll get to that.
I was gonna bring it up, but I was like,
yeah. Once we get to number 10, so it's a little bit cheeky, but it is a directory as a service, right? So we're really moving. We're making that step in the right direction. We're not saying throw away your investment in what you've already done in Active Directory. We're integrating with the cloud solution, and it's your first step towards, having a directory as a service. And I think that's an important thing to call out, because you said it earlier, mobile first, cloud first. We need to be in the cloud. We need to have the presence and the services in the cloud to provide the end users. So this gives us that step, by utilizing directory as a service.
Well, what's true? You know what's true about what you just said? It was a really cheesy response.
All right. Well, do you have a number 10?
I do.
All right.
Just to make up.
So
for
we'll call that a
9.5. That's what it is. It's Active Directory. I mean, Active Directory on-prem, Active Directory in the cloud, connectivity. Yes, equals cheesy. But I still like that idea. We'll throw one more on top of there.
All right.
One of the main benefits of Premium Edition is that you basically get to take advantage of the no limit. Yeah, and this is not the music, but no limit, no object limits, no app limits in terms of what gets managed in your Azure AD.
Oh, come on. Get out of here.
Structure.
There's no limits?
No limits, no object limits.
Are you sure?
So basically, if you're thinking to manage your cloud directory and how your accounts are synchronized, you don't have a limit. In the free edition, you have up to 5,000 objects that can be replicated. Same thing with the basic edition on in terms of directories of service and the objects are synchronized. In addition to that, I don't know.
Come on, there isn't more. We're actually going to give 11.
Yeah, no, that was 11. We're going on 12.
So we're doing 11 of the top 10 reasons? Nice.
Well,
nice.
You said or more, so we're going to add or more to that.
All right. Let's do more.
Centrally administer account and control access to your application. So basically no app limit. And I think I mentioned it already, but I'm going to use the cheesy line and add that on top of it. You have central administration to your accounts. So those are some of the additional reasons, but I think it's a great solution, and I think a lot of businesses out there should be considering, how do I get my infrastructure to take advantage of the cloud-first Azure AD Premium solution? And one way you can do that is through the Enterprise Mobility Suite offering.
Okay, all right. Well, good, man. That was some good information. I'm looking forward to hearing from our users, our listeners, and adopters, if you've already adopted, Azure Active Directory Premium, love to hear some feedback and what you guys think and how it's working out. That is, I guess, component 1 of 3 in the Enterprise Mobility Suite. So we're going to cover the other 2 components in the next 2 episodes, episode number 20 and 21.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was going to add there's a lot more to it. So I mean, again, when you're looking through, check it out on Microsoft's site. There's a lot of information on the Azure AD Premium. Understand the differences between Premium, Basic, and Free. They have different levels of interest, and basically the idea that if you buy it separately from the license bundle, you don't get to take advantage of the other features that we'll talk about in future podcasts.
Okay, cool. So I started talking about the fact that I am now in Seattle. Well, we say Seattle because that's the major city that's near here. But Microsoft headquarters is located in a city outside of Seattle called Redmond. So I'm here. I'm in my office right now doing my podcast, which is really nice. No dog in the background, trying to do my podcast recording from my studio at home, which is wherever I can carve a corner out of the house quietly.
And everyone talks with an American accent.
Yes, everyone does have an American accent. Well, actually, you know what's funny? There's a guy who sits in an office caddy corner from me. He's British.
Makes you feel at home for a little bit, huh?
It does, yeah. We've shared a couple cups of tea, or a cuppa as they call it out there. Mm-hmm. So, yep. yeah, it's good stuff.
Congratulations on the move.
Thanks,
Congratulations on the new environment, and I think you're going to be a great addition to the Seattleites out there.
I appreciate it very much. I love music, and Seattle is known for its music and innovation in music. So I've only been here a couple of weeks, but we've already been out there and enjoying some of the music scene. So, right on. Well, I guess that wraps up another amazing episode of The Device Pros.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Episode 19. I don't know why I'm so excited to hit episode 20, but it just feels like a milestone.
It is a milestone. I mean, that means we put out 20 really good episodes, and that also means that we have a number of great episodes coming. The more we do, the more we understand the value that we, as a devices team, can bring to you as a consumer.
Yep, that sounds good. All right, well, we'll wrap it up. I'm going to ask, like I always do, please reach out to us. Continue to give us the feedback that you guys have been providing. Help us guide the podcast, what it is that you want to hear about, or how to use things that you already know about, where to leverage things. I think, Alfred and I have been talking about putting out some podcasts that are business decision maker focused, BDM focused, because I know we have our audience is, almost 100% IT folks, and we, as IT changes, we do a lot more interfacing with the business side of the house and in corporations. So I think we want to start integrating some of that BDM discussion. So it's easier for IT to go and have that discussion with their business and not talk about features, but understand, what the pain points of the businesses are and how we can help address that by providing IT as a service.
Agreed.
All right. So keep reaching out. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can come to the website. We have SpeakPipe that is now on the website, so you can actually leave us a voicemail right from your computer. We have a voice number, which is for voicemail. If you leave us a voicemail, I may actually even play it on the show, and we'll answer your question. We are the Device Pros. Go look for us everywhere better podcasts are found.
Yep. And so what are we covering next week? Are we covering mobile devices, or are we going to the other side of the fence and talking about identity?
You know what? I'm not even going to say. I think people need to tune in to find out what exciting topic one of the last two we're going to talk about. Let's leave them hanging.
There we go.
All right, everybody. Thank you for another great episode, Alfred, and we will talk to you again next time around.
See you around.
That wraps up another amazing episode of The Device Pros. We appreciate you tuning in and participating. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another incredible episode helping the technology community one podcast at a time. We want to hear from you, our loyal members, so please reach out on our website, thedevicepros.com, or The Device Pros on Twitter and Facebook. For now, be good to your technology, and remember, the NSA is watching. See ya! while we work at Microsoft, this podcast is independent of Microsoft and implies no warranty or guarantee of the products or services. We will not be sharing anything confidential, and we do not represent the opinion of Microsoft in any way. We are just two passionate guys that love what we do implementing Microsoft devices and services.